Hey you guys, it's Dr. Linda Goggin, and today I'm going to tell you about how to manage joint pains. You're going to learn what to expect if you go to your conventional doctor, what to expect if you go to your integrative and functional holistic doctor, and what to expect if you go to your progressive doctor. Are you ready? Join me. All right, you guys, so you want to know about how to manage joint pain. I've been a family doctor for more than 20 years, and I can tell you just what's going to happen if you go to your family doctor, what they're going to say. They're going to start off by they're looking at your joint. They're going to check it out and see, hey, is this tendon or ligament damage? They're going to ask you what you did, ask you about your history. If you have joint problems all over, they're going to ask you about other things like, how the rest of your health is. When it comes down to it, they're going to say, okay, either you need to go to physical therapy, which is always a reasonable thing to try, or you need to get a picture taken, X-ray, ultrasound. Usually we tend to use ultrasound for the shoulders, and for other joints, we tend to use X-rays to start. Sometimes we'll use MRIs. So basically, they're trying to put it in a box and see if you need to go to a surgeon or go to the physical therapist. Sometimes they're going to be able to give you exercises right from the doctor's office. And I think that's great. The second thing that I'd say is if you just heard it, they're probably going to tell you to use rice. And I don't mean white rice. I mean to rest, ice, compress, and elevate. Sometimes we don't have to put the ACE wrap on it. The ACE wrap is not always helpful, but if it makes you feel better, then wear it. But if you're dealing with longer term joint injuries, it's unlikely that at this point, rest, ice, elevation, and compression is going to help, and we're going to have to try something else. Now, what's going to happen? They say, oh, but it's hurting so much. Well, they might tell you to grab yourself a little bit of this or a little bit of this, ibuprofen, Tylenol. Ibuprofen and Tylenol, I'm not going to completely knock them for the very short-term use, but honestly, they're not good for you. Tylenol is not so great for your liver. Ibuprofen, not so great for your gut. It can cause kidney problems. It can cause stomach bleeding. And it's important that these are short-term solutions. In fact, if you keep watching on this video, I'm going to tell you a better solution to deal with the pain that will actually reduce inflammation in your whole body and how to deal with joint pain. All right, you guys. So now let's say you're going to a functional, holistic, integrative doctor. Well, what are they going to do? Honestly, they're hopefully going to start off with the same things that a conventional physician would do. They're going to ask you questions about the injury. They're going to look at it, maybe order an X-ray, but they're also going to be thinking about, what is the root cause? What is the cause of the inflammation in the body that is making this spot hurt, right? Because as a holistic doctor, I understand that sometimes foods can actually make joints hurt, right? Sometimes toxins can make joints hurt. Sometimes when we have extra stress, it'll make our joints hurt more because our body is in a state with high cortisol, which causes the pain receptors to go a little bit more crazy, all right? So we want to try and reduce inflammation in the body. One great tip for that is curcumin. Curcumin, it's a derivative of turmeric, has been shown to be as effective as ibuprofen in some studies looking at it with joint pain. So we're going to try and lower the body's whole inflammatory burden, and that will help your joint pain in turn. Some people say, you mean cutting out gluten might make my hip feel better? And I'm like, yeah, it might. So it's worth a try. Also, there's no side effects to trying to do some interventions that take out a few foods to see if it makes your joint pain better, right? At the end of the video, I'm going to give you a clear guide on how you can do that. Now, what is going to be your...
One eternity later.
What's going to be your experience if you go to a progressive medicine doctor that understands a little bit of biohacking, right? And understands conventional medicine and integrative medicine? What are they going to do? Well, they're going to say all the previous things, except for maybe not the ibuprofen and Tylenol part, because I don't really think that's so great for you. But they're going to look at it, ask you questions, and then say, how can I get this person better faster? Right? And now what we're finding, the new medicine involves energy of some sort. That's light, That's magnetic fields and current. And I'm talking microcurrent. My FSM, I love my FSM, frequency specific microcurrent, which is awesome because it can help give the cells a message to reset what's happening at the cellular level. Some of us, when we get injured, we have a hard time bouncing back. You know what I'm saying? And when you can use interventions like light, like near infrared light, red light, microcurrent, magnetic fields, also light therapy that can alter what's happening at the cellular level, you can actually heal faster. That's why I do like to use magnetic fields that will improve your blood flow, like shown in this short clip here. Boom. And I find that people will heal up faster if you are able to approach it by several different ways, right? In removing the inflammatory burden, giving people good exercise. I love physical therapists. I love them. They're so great. And using the advances in medicine that are coming out in research all the time that can make you heal up faster. All right, so guys, that's what I want for you. And click below. You're going to get my tips to how to heal from injury, and join me for a masterclass. Okay, you guys, they're free. You'll learn more about the techniques that I use and find out how you can heal faster. Let's do these things. Let's get stronger as we age. Let's reverse age. Okay, you guys, let's do that, right? Woo woo. See you on the next video.